guys, and welcome back for another Wiki Wednesday Whispers. Today I was kind of thinking about what should we talk about, and my roommate suggested Star Wars, since the movie came out, for me in the future, for you in the past, and I thought that was a great idea. I don't know how I've never done Star Wars, but we're actually gonna do, not just Star Wars, we're gonna actually do the Force, more specifically. I looked at the Star Wars article, and if I skip everything, that's a spoiler, or just reading cast names, there's actually not a whole lot in that article. I didn't think it would be a very interesting article, but I looked at the Force, and I think this is going to be a much more interesting article, so we're going to do that. And if you've already seen Star Wars, don't tell me anything. I haven't seen it yet. If you haven't, I don't know. I'm excited to see it. I know it's not a very popular opinion, but I personally really enjoyed all 6 of the movies. I particularly really enjoyed Phantom Menace. I know that is a very controversial opinion, but I think part of it is I was right at the right age when it came out. I was, I don't know, 7, 10, somewhere in there. I don't know when it came out exactly, but I was young, and I remember seeing it and just thinking it was awesome. Even Jar Jar Binks, the infamous, everybody hates Jar Jar Binks. I think Jar Jar Binks is really funny. I really like Jar Jar Binks. I hope you don't hate me now because of that, but yeah. So, yeah, I guess without further ado, let's get started. Also, there is a bit of a rainstorm going on outside. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear that or not. Let me know if you can, and if you like it or not. But let's get started. The Force. The Force is a binding, metaphysical, and ubiquitous power in the fictional universe of the Star Wars galaxy, created by George Lucas, introduced in the original Star Wars film of 1977. It is integral to all subsequent incarnations of Star Wars, including the expanded universe of comic books, novels, and video games. Within the franchise, it is the object of the Jedi and Sith monastic orders. The line, "May the Force be with you," which has been said by at least one character in each of the Star Wars movies, has become part of the pop culture vernacular and has even achieved cult status among fans. Origin. Lucas has attributed the origins of the Force to a 1963 abstract film by Arthur Lipset, which sampled from many sources. One of the audio sources Lipset sampled for 21-87 was a conversation between artificial intelligence pioneer Warren S. McCulloch and Roman Grotter, a cinematographer who went on to develop IMAX. In the face of McCulloch's arguments that living beings are nothing but highly complex machines, Grotter insists that there is something more. Many people feel that in the contemplation of nature and in communication with other living things, they become aware of some kind of force or something behind this apparent mask which we see in front of us, and they call it God. When asked if this was the source of the Force, Lucas confirms that his use of the term in Star Wars was an echo of that phrase in 21-87. The idea behind it, however, was universal. Similar phrases have been used extensively by many different people for the last 13,000 years to describe the life force, he says. Let's see. We're going to skip over the section called quotes. It's all about quotes of people talking about the Force in the actual Star Wars movies, it would appear. So, Skywalkers exhibit various powers that rely on the Force, such as telekinesis and shooting lightning from their fingers. The Force has a dark side, which feeds off emotions such as anger, jealousy, fear, lust, and hate. But the Jedi are only supposed to use the Force for peaceful purposes. The series of villains, the Sith, embrace the dark side in order to seize power. The Jedi's compassionate and selfless use of the Force has come to be known by interference as the light side, although that term is not used in the films. Force abilities. The Force can enhance natural, physical, and mental abilities, including strength, such as during a Force jump, or to slow a fall from an otherwise dangerous height, and accuracy, as when Luke Skywalker was able to launch proton torpedoes into a 2-meter wide thermal exhaust board on the Death Star in A New Hope. A number of other Force powers are demonstrated in the film series, including telekinesis, telepathy, levitation, deep hypnosis, enhanced empathy, reflexes, precognition, and enhanced speed. The Jedi were also able to influence and control the minds of others by making use of the Jedi mind trick. Obi-Wan uses this type of ability, when he and Luke Skywalker first arrive in Mos Eisley in A New Hope, and they are stopped by the stormtroopers. Using the Force, Obi-Wan convinces the stormtrooper that these are not the droids you're looking for. The Sith use an ability called Force Lightning, which is a lightning-like manifestation of the dark side of the Force that can be used either in combat or as an instrument of excruciating torture, as demonstrated by Emperor Palpatine in Return of the Jedi and Revenge of the Sith, and Count Dooku in Attack of the Clones. Darth Vader also demonstrates the ability to choke using the Force, and numerous Jedi have been able to manipulate their lightsaber with the Force. The Force also gives enhanced skills in lightsaber combat. The term Force power originated in the Star Wars role-playing games by West End Games. Later, it was used in the Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2, where they could be gained via a system of Force points. Within the Star Wars expanded universe, a number of other powers have been demonstrated, such as the ability to heal or drain the life force of others, increase resistance to attack, warp space, resist pain, and to dissipate energy attacks, which has been demonstrated on screen by Yoda in Attack of the Clones during his battle with Count Dooku. Disturbances in the Force. Those who possess the discipline and subtlety of mind to sense the Force often refer to disturbances in the Force. Since the Force is an energy field created by all living things, a disturbance can be felt when there is death or suffering on a massive scale. A disturbance or tremor may also be felt in the presence of a powerful Jedi or Sith. When the planet Alderaan is destroyed in A New Hope, Obi-Wan senses a great disturbance in the Force, as if millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced. Also, in A New Hope, Darth Vader remarks to Grand Moff Tarkin that he felt a tremor in the Force that he had not felt since in the presence of his old master. In The Empire Strikes Back, Palpatine tells Darth Vader that he has felt a great disturbance in the Force upon realizing that Luke Skywalker poses a threat to him. Vader tells Palpatine that he also has felt the disturbance. In The Phantom Menace, Obi-Wan and his master Qui-Gon Jinn both agree that they feel a disturbance in the Force upon their arrival on Tatooine, possibly caused by the presence of a young yet incredibly Force-sensitive Anakin Skywalker on the planet. In Attack of the Clones, Yoda feels a disturbance in the Force when Anakin, enraged by his father's death, slaughters a tribe of Tusken Raiders. In Attack of the Clones, Yoda can see through the Force that Obi-Wan and Anakin will be forced to confront Count Dooku. He immediately orders a ship to take him to deaths of many Jedi, including during Order 66 in Revenge of the Sith. He falls to his knees and grasps his chest as if in pain himself. This shows the interconnected nature of the Force, especially its bond with the Jedi that were killed. In A New Hope, Darth Vader was able to sense Obi-Wan through his interactions with the Force, and in Return of the Jedi, Vader and Luke Skywalker were able to sense each other. Force sensitivity. Force sensitivity is a condition in the Star Wars universe where a life form possesses a natural connection to the Force. The Force flows through all life, with only rare exceptions, such as Yuuzhan Vong. Outright sensitivity to it is a more uncommon trait. While potential for Force sensitivity is established at birth, awareness, experience, and training are necessary to harness the power of the Force. Yoda implies that this training is most effective in early childhood. It is established in The Phantom Menace that Force sensitivity is biological, the product of midichlorians. The Chosen One. An ancient prophecy foretold the appearance of a Chosen One imbued with a high concentration of midichlorians, strong with the Force, and destined to alter it forever. Anakin Skywalker was the Chosen One, although it was Luke Skywalker who brought his father Anakin to the light side at the end. Anakin Skywalker had the highest concentration of midichlorians that the Jedi Council had ever seen. He was possibly conceived by the midichlorians. Lucas has said in interviews that Luke Skywalker had the same total midichlorian count that Anakin did at birth, though this does not necessarily make him the Chosen One, because Anakin did exactly what the prophecy foretold by coming back from the dark side and destroying Emperor Palpatine. In Revenge of the Sith, Palpatine tells Anakin that a Sith Lord, Darth Plagueis, had the ability to use the dark side to influence midichlorians to create life and to prevent people from dying. Anakin had foreseen the death of his wife and believed this power could save her, but failed, leading him to the dark side of the Force. This raised doubt whether he was the Chosen One, but he later proved himself a true Jedi, the Chosen One he was foretold to be. In the novel, Darth Plagueis, written by James Luceno, Darth Plagueis is shown to have discovered a way to manipulate midichlorians to resurrect people after death. He tries to go further by creating a being by compelling the midichlorians to produce it. However, he considers his experience a failure, and he is unable to produce a forceful being through midichlorian manipulation. 9 years later, Plagueis discovers that Anakin has been born from a virgin birth, and he comes to the conclusion that the Force had retaliated against his attempt by creating a forceful being which was destined to defeat him. Plagueis' belief eventually comes true when Anakin destroyed his apprentice, Darth Sidious, during the Battle of Endor. Midichlorians. Midichlorians are science fictional microorganisms first mentioned in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. According to the Jedi Master, Qui-Gon Jinn, midichlorians are a microscopic life form that resides within all living cells and communicate with the Force. Without the midichlorians, life could not exist, and we would have no knowledge of the Force. They continually speak to you, telling you the will of the Force. Every living being thus has a connection to the Force, but one must have a high enough concentration of midichlorians in one's cells in order to be a Jedi or a Sith. Creator George Lucas notes that the midichlorians are based on the endosymbiotic theory, he says. Midichlorians are a loose depiction of mitochondria, which are necessary components for the cells to divide. They probably have something which will come out someday to do with the beginnings of life. Now one cell decided to become 2 cells, with a little help from this little creature who came in, without whom life couldn't exist. And it's really a way of saying we have hundreds of little creatures who live on us, and without them we all would die. There wouldn't be any life. They are necessary for us. We are necessary for them. Using them in the metaphor, Kenobi's death in A New Hope, when Luke Skywalker hears Obi-Wan's voice saying, "Run, Luke, run." Luke hears Obi-Wan's voice again during the Battle of Yavin. The first visual appearance of a Force Ghost, or Force Spirit, is in The Empire Strikes Back, when Obi-Wan's ghost appears to Luke on Hoth, and again to Luke and Yoda on Dagobah. In Return of the Jedi, Luke converses with the ghost of Dagobah after Yoda's death, then sees their two spirits alongside that of Anakin Skywalker during the celebration of Endor at the end of the film. While Yoda and Obi-Wan are seen to vanish upon death, leaving behind only their physical clothing, Darth Vader's body does not disappear or dissolve on screen. Luke Skywalker is later seen burning Vader's armor, including his helmet and faceplate, but it is unclear whether the armor still contains Vader's body, though the novelization to the film says that Vader's body did disappear and that the armor was empty. Questions arose after the release of Phantom Menace, when Qui-Gon Jinn's body did not vanish after his death fighting Darth Maul, and perhaps more importantly, none of the characters expected it to. Qui-Gon's remains were burned on a Jedi funeral pyre on Naboo. In the film's DVD commentary, Lucas indicated that this apparent discontinuity was a plot point that would be revisited. It should be noted that Obi-Wan's enigmatic final words to Darth Vader and the disappearance of his body appeared to perplex Vader. In Revenge of the Sith, it is revealed that the ability to return as a Force spirit is a recently discovered and complex discipline unknown to most of Jedi. Yoda informs Obi-Wan that the late Qui-Gon Jinn discovered the path to immortality, the secret of how to retain his identity after death and absorption into the Force, and that his spirit would instruct Obi-Wan in this discipline during his exile on Tatooine. In the expanded universe novel Heir to the Empire, it is explained by Obi-Wan to Luke that the Force Ghost is an intermediate state between life and afterlife, and one could not stay in that form forever. Also in the novels following the movie, Luke discovered the discipline of the Force spirit. George Lucas has since indicated on Revenge of the Sith DVD commentary that the appearance of Vader's former self Anakin Skywalker as a Force spirit at the end of Episode 6 is due to Yoda and Obi-Wan's spirits helping extend his identity out of the Force. The dark side. The dark side of the Force is a concept which represents a corruptive and addictive aspect of the Force that is rejected by the Jedi, who view it as evil. As portrayed in all Star Wars-related media, the dark side provides powers similar to those of the Jedi, such as telepathy, telekinesis, and precognition, but draws energy from passion and violence, an energy that is enhanced by negative emotions, generally by fear, anger, hatred, and rage. It is embraced by the Sith as their source of power. Toy simulation. In 2009, Uncle Milton Industries released the Star Wars Force Trainer. This game used an electrocephalogram in conjunction with an airjet to allow the user to levitate a ball by concentrating. So that is the end of